Meantime, though, our man in Japan, Eoin Sheahan, has been producing some stellar work, no more so than his much revered sushi reviews. It's all thanks to Vodafone Team of Us. Here's Sheahan's Sushi, episode 3.
You're welcome along to the thing where I review food. I would call it Sheahan's Sushi, but believe it or not, there is some semblance of self-respect behind these eyes. We're here along the canal in Fukuoka. There are rippling sounds being made in the stream behind me, fully expecting the Japanese version of the Loch Ness Monster to jump out any moment. We're waiting for a big typhoon to hit here in Fukuoka, but here I am, still out by the water, still outside, being a danger to myself, reviewing food. I better get knighted for this. There's a massive shopping centre just across the road. Really nice place, nice little stream running through it. Kind of feels like when the lazy river setting is turned on in the Aquadome. So I was walking through it earlier on, enjoying my evening, and then all of a sudden, this big manga show starts. It was absolutely crazy. Lights here, fountains going in every direction. Some of it pretty inappropriate for the kids, I'm not going to lie. Saw a robot get decapitated and blood spurted everywhere. Not quite sure how that works. Even the robots have a human side to them here in Japan. All in all, the whole thing was like an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Set in the Trebalgan Leisure Centre. So I've gone in and out of a couple of Japanese shops this evening to pick up a few little bits and pieces. We're going to review 3 different foodstuffs today. This is called Mr. Garlic and Mrs. Pepper. Sounds like a bag of potatoes. Let's see what Mr. Garlic and Mrs. Pepper is like. I wonder what flavour they are. Packaging it in this. I've not tasted anything like this. This is not a flavour crisp we have at home. Garlic and pepper. And quite frankly, there is a reason why we don't have this flavour at home. They do not mix. You can see that there's relationship problems between Mr. Garlic and Mrs. Pepper here. There's a reason why. I'm actually kind of astonished with what this is. I was expecting like meanies or something like that. I actually thought garlic and pepper were like thieves stealing the flavour of meanies and bringing them to Japan. Not the case. It's appalling, really, and I'm going to give this a score of 25%. The worst crisp I've ever had. Even worse than the Builder's Breakfast Walker crisp they made a couple of years ago. Alright, next we've got this. Looks like some heavy duty stuff. It's either a protein bar or a bit of a core of a nuclear reactor. Let's go right in and have a taste of this. It's biscuit cake. Like, the front of it would suggest that you're about to go into galactic. But I feel exactly the same. Congratulations on the 25th anniversary, by the way, to this particular chocolate bar. It's biscuit cake. It's nice. It's good. If you like biscuit cake, you'll love this sort of thing. Probably melted in my pocket for a little while. Adds to the texture. Humidity is good for a chocolate bar like this. Excellent. Gonna give it a score of 72%. And then finally, for now, we have this. So this guy appears to be the main villain in It Chapter 3. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw it on the shelves, I was scared shitless. I will never sleep properly again, so I have to confront it. I have to open it. Let's see what's going on in here. It's jellies, basically. The jellies don't look particularly good for your well-being. They're tough to get out of the packaging as well. Oh, I was opening up the wrong way. The packaging just sticks to the gummy bear. Maybe, is the packaging edible? Either way, it's getting eaten now. Yeah, right. You could do a better job of making these yourself if you had a tub of Ribena and an ice cube case. Not great, very flimsy, complete jelly. 18% is what I'm giving these. The Japanese confectionery system need to get their house in order because sorely disappointed with that. The chocolate biscuit bar that looked like it had every element in the periodic table in it, that was nice. But the rest of the stuff, not for me. Terrible crisps, terrible jellies. Japan, get your house in order.
All right, Eoin Sheahan, good morning to you.
Good morning, lads. What's the crack?
Yeah, so you don't like any of the junk food? You're doing healthy stuff only?
Junk food's not great. Yeah, the dinners are absolutely sensational. I haven't had a bad dinner really at all. I'm just trying to think. No, but the confectionery and stuff, not great. Don't. If you're going to destroy your teeth, do it in a more tasty fashion, not Japanese sweets.
Would you have been a man for Yama Mori back in Ireland before you became a Japanese food expert?
I've went once or twice, Johnny, and it's pretty good, isn't it? Do you frequent the place?
Yeah, I used to be a fan. Absolutely love the miso soup. I could drink that literally every day. You can go to some of the like some of those shops. Like I don't know what to describe them as. Where
Asian supermarkets.
Yes, Asian supermarkets. Yeah, where you can buy like a wok. You can buy.
They're literally called Asian supermarkets. It's over the title over the door. But go on.
Over some of them, yeah. You just cannot be so. It's such a PC world. I actually don't know what to say anymore.
Well, no, it's not that PC. You just need to be right about stuff. Go on.
Okay. So, so get your package of miso soup, which comes in this kind of what's it, like a paste?
Yeah.
And you literally put in Are you listening on?
I am.
Yeah. So you literally put in like a teaspoon into your hot water, and then you can put in the kind of the dried seaweed.
Yeah.
And you could make that. It's about £3 for the package. You'll have it all year, and it's absolutely delicious, and it's very good for you.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
There you go. You can do all this stuff when you get home. What has the day-to-day food been that we're kind of not seeing, the below the radar stuff that's like not making the cut for this that you have liked?
I had a lot of ramen, although yesterday I was in a restaurant and like there were clearly overstaffed at the time, so there was a lot of people kind of hovering around you, watching your every move. I thought my chopstick technique was on point by the stage, but clearly not. I think the chef was actually staring at me covertly from behind the counter, and he got so frustrated that he actually came out from behind the counter, came over to where I was sitting, took the chopsticks off me, and corrected my technique. So that was, I kind of took a bit of a step back after that. I was like, whoa.
That's fantastic.
That's a massive.
That's the equivalent of you being like a decent footballer in front of like nobody, but then when there's actually a crowd watching you, you just can't function anymore.
It's exactly it. I felt to myself, why have my superpowers deserted me at this most important time? But no, it's a lot of ramen. It's a lot of those sort of soups, as Johnny says, and you could live off the food here pretty easily. It is savage, especially as I say, come dinner time. Like I mean, if you did a head-to-head of Irish breakfast versus Japanese breakfast, I haven't had too many Japanese breakfasts, but I wonder who would win. I'm all ears when it comes to what they actually eat for breakfast.
Fish, I think.
Why have you not had any breakfast? Have you been sleeping in? So nights have been good.
No, I've been having breakfast, but not Japanese breakfast. They've been like continental breakfast, like including, like I mean, even in like the hotels and stuff. It's been like it has been a lot of hams and cheeses as you'd get like of France. But yeah, there is a good bit of fish. I will say that, Johnny. Like they would actually put down like fish that we would have for our dinner, like little pieces of cod and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess I've just answered my own question there. They have a lot of fish for breakfast, but I haven't indulged in too much.
Does it not make you a bit ashamed though that like you're in one island nation, you'll be going home to an island nation? How little bloody fish we eat over here? Like it's an absolute joke. Like why we don't? It's very good for you as part of a balanced diet. I'm not working for the fish council or whatever, but like why aren't we eating Irish sushi? Why aren't we eating more fish? Why are we all meat?
Very good question, Johnny. I personally eat a lot of fish myself, so I, for one, cannot be swept away with that generalization. It's true, though. I mean, that was the thing I was most looking forward to before coming here, was the food, because I do love fish, and it has delivered on that, except for like the dodgy sushi that I did pick up in that supermarket at the start of that series. Like, I mean, left, right, and centre, you can just get beautiful fish. But to be fair, their meat is also really good as well, although it's just kind of made in a less satisfactory manner in times. Like some people just don't like the fatty nature of it, or the fact that it's bones and stuff quite a bit. And like they're a big fan of chicken cartilage here. Yeah. That is the one thing that I've had, and I've been like, no, thank you. That it just doesn't feel right, the cartilage. Not that I'm not sure there's anybody who think cartilage, that feels so perfect in my mouth. But for me anyway, it's that did not do the trick. That's the one thing where I was like, oh God. I can say generally I do not like this, whereas some of the other things that I haven't liked has just been like, okay, that's not done very well, or that's kind of gone off, whereas the actual proper version of that meal will be really good. So all in all, it has been very, very strong, especially the dinners. So I can't complain. I must go to Yama Mori a bit more now, Johnny, when I'm home.
I'm sure they'll give you one of those Nando's cards that, you know, that all the footballers get and go, oh, I'm going for a cheeky Nando's, because they get a free lifetime supply.
Nando's, yeah. God.
Right, where are you, Owen?
I'm at Shofukuji Temple, Jared. This is the oldest Zen temple in all of Japan. It was founded in the year 1195 by a Chinese priest who had brought Zen Buddhism over across the water from China, a religion that kind of became very popular with the samurai class. And then all of a sudden, Zen Buddhism became a huge religion here in Japan because of the samurais. So that's where I am. It is the oldest Zen temple. Of course, it's been through earthquakes and typhoons down through the years. This is not the original structure. It's been redeveloped many times. It is actually slap bang in the city centre here in Fukuoka, which is kind of astonishing, really. You could be walking down a busy street where there's cars driving everywhere, and then you take one right turn, and then you're in this sort of oasis of tranquility, really, because there is nobody speaking except for me in this whole place. A lot of cats around, a lot of birds around. But yeah, so we're here in the city centre of Fukuoka, the Ireland press conference just taking place down the road. They're based here, of course, until Sunday morning. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about Sunday morning myself, because we can see this typhoon that's about to hit. It looks like it's changing course, or it has changed course, and it is going to change day as well. We thought that this particular area of Japan in Kyushu might have been under serious threat on Saturday, which is of course game day, but it actually looks like it's doing more of a bendy arch, if that's the technical weather term, and it's heading for Tokyo on Sunday, which is of course when Scotland versus Japan is taking place. Now, I'm hoping to go to Japan against Scotland on Sunday, hoping to get a flight up from Fukuoka on Sunday morning, so I'm not sure how that'll work. Like this typhoon, it's remarkable. I've only started to kind of really get my teeth sunk into just how varying degrees of weather reporting can be in this part of the world. Like, it's been called a typhoon, it's been called a super typhoon, it's been referred to as the strongest typhoon that this country has seen all year, it's been referred to as the strongest typhoon the Earth has seen all year. There have been official weather warnings put in place for the likes of Saipan, but as we know in Ireland, things that make it to Saipan don't necessarily make it to Japan, so we could be okay.
Oh, hey. You've been literally waiting like at least 3 days, I'd say, to bring that one out. Well done, Owen. I know you're doing well over there, but don't get ahead of your station now.
It's off my head. I think I didn't plan it at all.
Yeah, God, that'll be interesting. Japan and Scotland, the game that's actually in trouble.
0-0 draw, yeah. How does an 0-0 draw in the Japan-Scotland game suit us? Pretty well, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think we just have to win even without a bonus point. I don't know, but like it would definitely suit us well for sure. We're not going to see any cancellations here, surely not. Like, it's just too important. World Rugby are going to move it geographically or move it by day to ensure that these games go off. And if it means pushing it back a day or two, then so be it, because there are no other games, because it's quarter-final week the following weekend.
Yeah, you're in. I've just mapped where Fukuoka is. You're kind of closer to South Korea than you are to Tokyo at the moment.
Exactly. You can get it on a ferry to South Korea from here, actually. And that's something I have a whole part of time to do. Like, you could spend, I would say, 2 weeks in Fukuoka as your base, because there are so many fascinating places that you can go to. Like, you can go to Hiroshima in the north, you can go to Nagasaki in the south. I'm going to go to Oita tomorrow, because I'm going to go watch Wales play Fiji, and there's no Irish media on. And then there's other beautiful little towns all around this island as well. So as I say, this is the island of Kyushu. Fukuoka is the northernmost city in Kyushu. Honshu is the main island, so it kind of connects those two. But then you can also leave the country if you want and go over to South Korea. So plenty of options for people who are here on holidays. And I must say, it is a beautiful city down by the canal where I was doing my Skype from yesterday. It's particularly nice. Lots of nice little restaurants down the sort of brick paths down by the canal. It's a very, very nice city. Has been weather affected, of course, in the past, but it's a city with great history and an area with great history. Okay.
You were obviously at the press conferences this morning. What was the most interesting line? People are just waking up, just joining OTB AM now at 8:56. We had the press conference live from 7:15, but what was the most interesting stuff that you took? We had 2 players and Simon Easterby up. We had Henderson and Joey Carberry. And Easterby, obviously they were talking about the weather, talking about Joey Carberry's decision to kick the ball dead at the end of the Japan game. What else was of interest this morning?
Well, in my opinion, the thing that I took away was that Ian Henderson was chatting about the variation in performance levels over the past couple of weeks. And he said that they almost looked good against Scotland because they prefer playing against teams that play a similar style to Ireland, which is kind of interesting. It's an interesting admission. If you want to take that logic, you can say that perhaps Ireland got caught cold by the style of Japan. But if you want to take it a step further, it probably hammers home just how important it is that we don't play New Zealand in the next round. Because not only are they a better team than South Africa, they also play in a style that just does not suit Ireland whatsoever. As Henderson said, the style of South Africa is a style that Ireland are familiar with, and by extension it would be a style that Ireland would perform better against, according to Ian Henderson. And Simon Easterby, I put it to him as well afterwards in that press conference that what Henderson had said, and he would agree with that then, that there has been a little bit of a challenge getting used to differing styles from the Southern Hemisphere teams especially. So I think that just crystallises how important this whole weekend is from Ireland, not just Saturday. It is so important that Scotland do us a favour after we hold up our end of the bargain. Like, I really do think that while the positivity from the camp has been noticeable over the last couple of weeks, I think the way we talk about it, the way the media will talk about it, and especially the way the camp will talk about it, will change dramatically if this is a game against South Africa rather than a game against New Zealand. We'll be underdogs for both games, and that suits Ireland fine. I think we've got far more of a puncher's chance against South Africa.
Yeah, it feels that way.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Is Robbie Henshaw training in full, expected to play this weekend? What's the story?
Yeah, expected to play this weekend, going very well in training from yesterday, which is important. He trained on Monday by all accounts. Joey Carberry as well, going very well in training. So I would imagine that Robbie Henshaw will play this weekend. I'd imagine he would probably start. Like, what do you do? Like, I mean, do you have him on the bench, bring him in, or do you start him? Like, Gary Ringrose cannot start another game. So you've really got three options in midfield this weekend. I would be starting Robbie Henshaw. I know it's a risk playing against Samoa. Like, you have Battle of Bayonne sort of PTSD almost when you talk about Ireland and you talk about games against teams that don't have a whole lot to play for. You can still pick up tons of injuries, but still, really, what was the point of keeping Robbie Henshaw all this time if he's going to go into a World Cup quarter-final and not be fully fit or not fully sharp? Exactly. I think you play him this weekend.
Okay, any other team selection issues if Joey Carberry is out? Is he starting the game at 10?
That's the other question, really. I think Joey Carberry probably does start. I think because of the fact that Johnny Sexton got hooked so early the last day, it seemed that Joe Schmidt was pretty happy with where he's at. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sexton get some game time, though, this weekend. The only person who's really going to be ruled out for the weekend, I'd imagine, is going to be Jordy Murphy. He won't be officially ruled out, but he's not going to get back fully training until Thursday. It's a day off tomorrow for the team, but if you're only training on the Thursday and starting your training on the Thursday, you are not going to be involved in a Joe Schmidt team, regardless of how light we tend to be in the back row.
So who starts? Peter O'Mahony start again?
Could be, yeah. Peter O'Mahony's position now is an interesting one, because is he somebody who is suffering because of playing too many games, or is he suffering because he needs to play his way into form? Because his form has definitely been a worry so far in this tournament, I think you'd have to say. And Rhys Ruddock, is he slowly putting his hand up for inclusion in the starting 15? I know you're a big Ruddock fan, Ger. Like, you've been mentioning him all the time, even with everybody fit. I think you were almost edging towards him ahead of Jack Conan on the bench when in Ireland's fully fit 23. I think there's a debate now to be had about whether or not Rhys Ruddock could be pushing his way towards the starting 15 if you pick everybody on form. Personally, I think that's probably a step too far. I think Peter O'Mahony is still in there, but does he need to play his way into a bit of form? Like, maybe not. Maybe it is kind of a weekend off for him. It's kind of it's a big dilemma for Joe Schmidt this weekend as to what to do with O'Mahony, for sure, because that is somebody who's had a bit of an issue with his form.
Yeah, it's very hard to know. Maybe Byrne starts in the back row this week and you don't need to start O'Mahony, but O'Mahony can be on the bench if required, and maybe O'Mahony starts again and Rhys is on the bench for the last game.
I wouldn't be surprised. Byrne is a good shout, because I would imagine, like we were kind of thinking last week, if Jordy Murphy's injury was bad enough for him to have been sent home, who were you calling up? I suspect that they might have actually called up a second row, that Devon Toner or Quinn Rue might have got the call up, and Tyg Byrne would have just become a solid back row option at that point. He wouldn't have even been considered as a second row option at that point. So really, I wouldn't be surprised if the Irish Rugby management are thinking about it in that way, and Tyg Byrne could be given a run out in that position this weekend. I'd be very, very interested to see how he goes in the back row.
All right, Owen, good stuff. Congratulations on another Sheehan's Sushi that isn't actually called that, but well done.
No, thank you very much. Good to chat to you, lads.